Talks with Father Paisios, Part 3, Chapter 1, Numbers 21 to 43. 21. Father Paisios told me, the just man, the meek one, everyone tries to push into the worst position, to treat him unjustly, to knock him down, but the more people push him downwards, the more God lifts him up, like a cork. The more you push it to the bottom, the more the water lifts it up. Here is a true story, which I was told firsthand. My father died and my brothers and I went to divide the fields. When I saw my older brothers shouting, ready to start a fight, I, being the youngest, was unable to speak. I'll be happy with whatever they give me, I thought. They gave me some fields which were all sand. Nothing could be cultivated in them. It wouldn't be possible to make a living out of them. I was forced to leave for Germany, to work to provide for my family. When I returned many years later, what did I find? On either side of the field they had built 2 large hotels, and both were seeking to buy the field. This made the price rise greatly. I got hundreds of millions of drachmas. I decided, Elder, to give half to those in need and came to ask you what to do with the other half. First, give to your brothers, so that you don't hurt their feelings, and do whatever you want with the rest. That's what I told him, Thanasi, so that they wouldn't have bad feelings between them. 22. The devil tries to destroy everything today, so that the new generation might not find any good leaven to knead. 23. The humble person is usually very learned, whereas the egotist, because he won't humble himself to ask, does not have knowledge. 24. We must simplify our life. Luxury makes one weary. There are people who constantly want to change their furniture, etc. Later on they run around trying to make more money, and in doing so become filled with anxiety. 25. Elder, the child of an acquaintance of mine is constantly naughty. He shouts and hits others. What is to blame? What should he do? Look, the children are not to blame. Today they have closed them up in apartment buildings and they don't have an area to run, to play. The children are pressured. They can't move. They haven't got outlets for their energy. They go crazy and hit their heads against the wall. For children to grow naturally, they need a yard. In other words, Elder, children living in apartment buildings develop psychological problems? Well, if they are constrained and pressured, it is much better for them to have a yard. It is more natural. You see, a house which has children who are all in perfect order is not good. It means they must be using army-like discipline. There is fear in the souls of the children. It is better for the mother to occupy herself with the upbringing of her children, to speak to them, to read to them about the saints, about Christ, rather than occupying herself with orderliness and lifeless things. 26. Today people are made dizzy. The poor children are knocked about with various theories. Later on they become fearful, anxious, and they turn to narcotics and amusements. This secular amusement, however, adds to their anxiety. From this life one experiences to a certain degree hell or paradise if he lives according to God's will in the Church. 27. Children, through beautiful little poems, used to be taught to love their homeland. My beautiful homeland lies in the cool blue with the silver waves. You see how they spoke. In this way the child is built up. Today they don't give them such things. They leave the child empty. And at home, the parents, one is busy with this, the other with that. Where can love be found for the child? The children remain empty and suffer. There's a poor child who has made I don't know how many suicide attempts. When he comes, he falls at my feet. Now he has finished his degree and is a soldier, is an adult, and he writes me letters. My dear sweet father, he writes. What can the child do? First, one should strive to build up the children, and then the other things can come, education, etc. 28. Elder, today the children are pressured a lot. They're weighed down with lessons and must learn 2 foreign languages as well. And they don't even learn ancient Greek. Yes, exactly. Must they learn English and German as well? What is a good compromise? Well, the child could learn a language. He should learn as much as he can. He could even learn 5. It must be without pressure, though. 29. Elder, the children receive their grades today, and they are upset. Look, today older people want to make a lot of money with a little work, and the young want to get good grades without studying. If they can make a phone call to ask what grades they received, without leaving the cafe or the discotheque, whatever you call it, they will do it. Laughter. 30. The elder gave a book to the teenagers of the Third Lyceum, which spoke of Hellenism in Macedonia. 31. He once said to a teacher, "When you have your own children, you'll understand your students at school better." When one loves the children and scolds them with kindness, the children accept it and understand it. Teachers are like grocers. When they are young, they take a long time to balance the scales, whereas after they have become experienced, 2 or 3 seeds, and they are able to bring the scale to balance. 32. Antipathies should not develop in the soul of the teacher in relation to his students. Even when they make one's life difficult, the teacher should realize that he is to blame. In other words, the teacher eventually pays for those things which he did in the past. 33. A person should love his parents, should respect them. Today they say, "No respect." This is the status quo. There are others who don't care about their children. They agree with whatever bad thing their children want, to make them happy, to be popular with their children. By doing this, they have destroyed everything. 34. Today, a large gap has developed. Parents don't understand their children, nor children their parents. One must put oneself in the place of the other, and then there will be mutual understanding. The poor children are not to blame. They bombard them from all sides with theories. This theory, the other theory, this is correct. In the end, they get dizzy and lost. We must control the children, but softly. Look, I tied up my tomatoes with ribbons. If I had tied them with wire, what would have happened? Wouldn't they have been wounded? Today, many Christian families are also to blame. I'm all right, they say. I keep my children under control, unlike the children of the world, and I have peace of mind. The question is not whether or not they kept them under control, even more than they should have perhaps, but what were their motives in controlling them? If they did it out of fear of sin, to spare them from hell, out of the fear of God, God helps them, and the child doesn't suffer anything. If, however, it's out of egotism, if the parents act out of a mindset like, "My child didn't do that," well, then God doesn't help, so that the parents might be corrected. 35. Elder, in planning the new home which I am building, I thought to include 2 little apartments on the ground floor for my parents and my in-laws. Is this a good idea? Yes, very good. Bravo that you thought of it. It's a great blessing from God for one to look after his parents. And if you don't have enough money for the home, I will make a mandate and will go round the holy mountain to bring you some. I had the thought that the money wouldn't be enough. I didn't say anything. He realized it on his own. 36. Kiss the hand of your father and of your mother, out of respect. 37. Elder, should we spank the children when they are unruly? Should you spank them? A lot or a little? He laughed. Look, fear is a restraint and spares the child from many things when he doesn't understand. Let's say that a child likes to go up high on a chair. He doesn't sense the danger. If he gets a little spanking from his mother, when he again wants to climb up, he will look right and left to see, do they see me? And if no one sees him, he will remember the spanking he received and will restrain himself. I'd rather not get another spanking, he will say, and so the fear becomes a restraint and spares infants from many things. When, however, children begin to understand, we must sit down with them and patiently explain things they can understand. 38. Parents sometimes hurt their children out of the excessive love they have for them. You see, if love gets derailed, then it hurts the child, chokes him. It's a type of sickness. Fortunately, some children are brave and they escape, but others, however, are destroyed. Even love, you see, needs a break, a measure. It seems to me that I would not be a good parent, because I wouldn't be able to impose myself on myself. 39. Parents should be careful at home as to what books they have, because they might fall into the hands of their children and they may suffer harm. Have only Christian books at home. 40. It is good for the family to have the same spiritual father, the husband, the wife, the children. This helps a lot. 41. Young children, when they read the lives of the saints, are greatly benefited. As a result of their simplicity, they have a lot of faith. In this way, they cultivate good habits. When one begins the spiritual life from a young age, even from elementary school, he has the most joyous life. This is because while young, he is free of worldly cares. He also develops good habits and continues in them. I had my best years when I was young. I soared high during the 5th and 6th grades at elementary school. Afterwards, when one gets a little older, the healthy concerns begin. What will I become? What will I study? Etc. Until 1940, when the war began with the Italians, I was 16 years old. I spent the best years of my life. Afterwards, the war ruined things. We had difficulties. 42. Some children are smart, mature for their age. They are also brave. They want to keep company with older children because they are mature for their age. If they happen to keep company with good children, they are benefited. If, however, they fall into the company of unruly children, they are greatly harmed. Young children are harmed more by older children and by indiscretionate adults. This is because they are curious and they go to hear what the adults are saying. They hear ugly things and are harmed. It is better for one to keep company with people of the same age or with younger people, so that one does not get harmed, with younger ones, so that he may furthermore benefit them. All of my friends were younger than I. Afterwards, when they got a little older, they also abandoned me and made fun of me. I pressured them a bit, in fasts. Their mother would shout at them, "Don't go around with him, he will make you consumptive." When they were young, they were happy that they had someone older with them. Afterwards, what could I do? I began being hypocritical. I made friends with people of my own age. They made slingshots, so did I. They shot at the target. I also shot. I killed a bird or two. "Hold on now," I said. "What's going on?" When my younger brother had killed a little bird, I spanked him. I took the bird and buried it. Now am I killing? So I abandoned them. Afterwards, I took the lives of the saints and went into the forest. I read, I prayed, I ascended onto a rock to be like the Stylites. I had eaten in the morning. My stomach was full. When hunger started to bother me, I would tell myself to get down before becoming exhausted. The ascent is easier than the descent, because when you go down, you don't see. When one is young and a little moral, chaste, the others make fun of him and try to sway him. Do the younger ones do these things? And these younger ones are more clever. 2 of them went into a city wearing clean clothes. One slipped and fell. He became dirty like a pig in the mud. The dirty one didn't feel comfortable being next to the boy with the clean clothes, as everyone was looking at him. So he tripped the other one who fell, got dirty, and so was more comfortable to be beside him. They are censured by a moral child and try to sway him so that they are not censured. 43. Father Paisios told me, when from a young age a child becomes filled with Christ, goes to church with his parents, communes, chants, prays, later on when he gets older, leaves home, and ends up possibly in an unfavorable environment, it's not difficult for him. It's like wood which has been drenched in linseed oil. Afterwards, it doesn't absorb rain, as it is protected by the oil. It won't take in water. It repels it.